Welcome back, and in this demo lesson we're going to further secure our general AWS account, and we're going to do that by creating an IAM identity which you're going to use for the remainder of the course. In general, we don't want to use the account root user for anything for production usage or even while using this account for training. It's not possible to restrict the account root user. You can't delete it or recreate it, and so we should almost never use it. Normal process when you've finished creating an AWS account should be to create a normal admin user which will be given full control over the account, and it will replace your usage day to day of the account root user. So we now have this general AWS account, we have an account root user for this AWS account, and we've secured it with one-time password capability. But now what we're going to do is set up an IAM identity with admin permissions that we'll be using from this point onward in the course. So to do that, click in the services search box at the top and type IAM, and then click IAM to move to the IAM console. If you do see any dialogues indicating a new dashboard experience, then you can just click to close that down. AWS are in the middle of updating this interface, so you might see various items suggesting new updates to the user interface. Now, the first thing that I want to do before we create the IAM identity is to draw your attention to this area of the dashboard. If you're going to sign on with any IAM identities, then you need to use a sign-in URL for IAM users, and right now you'll see that it's in this format. It's HTTPS and then your account ID, which is unique to you, and then .signin.aws.amazon.com/console. Now, you can set an account alias. By default, this is set to your account ID, but we can make this sign-in URL a little bit more friendly by setting an alias. And I like to keep this theme of general and production so that we can see which account it is that we're logging into. So we're going to set an account alias. Now, this account alias needs to be globally unique, so you need to set it to something which makes sense and has the word general in, but also is specific to you. So to create this alias, go ahead and click on Create, and then you need to enter your preferred alias in this box. And assuming that nobody else has used this alias, I can go ahead and click to save those changes. There we go, I'm able to create the alias that I want, so that's great. You need to follow the same process, but pick a unique alias for you. Just make sure that it has the word general within it, so it's nice and easy to identify which AWS account you're logging into. Next, we're going to go ahead and create the IAM identity, which we're going to be using from this point onward in the course. And again, each IAM identity that we create is specific to the AWS account that it's created within. So we're going to create an IAM identity called IAM admin, but we'll be creating one in this lesson for the general AWS account, and then later in this section, you'll also be creating a similar identity for the production AWS account, and these, just like the account root users, are completely separate identities. So go ahead and click on Users. If you do see any new user interface pop-ups, just close them down and then click on Add Users. Now, for the username, we're going to choose IAM admin. This doesn't have to be unique globally, only within this account. So you won't currently have an identity called IAM admin, so you can also call your user IAM admin. Now, next, you're able to select what type of access this user will have to the AWS account. The options that you have are to create access keys, so these are for pragmatic access if you want to interact with this AWS account using this identity for the CLI or APIs or any of the software development kits, then you need to enable pragmatic access. For now, we won't be doing that, but we will be interacting with the AWS Management Console. console. So check the box for AWS Management Console access, and then we need to set a console password for the IAMadmin user of the general AWS account. Now again, you can use a password manager to auto-generate this on your behalf, but you do need to make sure that you note it down. So click on Custom Password, and then enter your chosen password within this box. I'm going to choose to generate a password using my password manager, and then I'm going to uncheck the Require Password Reset because I don't want to have to change the password when I first log in to the account, and I suggest you do the same. So uncheck this box and then click to move on. Now we need to give this identity some permissions. Initially it won't have any permissions except those to change the password and basic interaction permissions for the AWS console. So we need to give it admin permissions. So go ahead and click Attach Existing Policies directly. You could add this user to a group which might have existing permissions, or you could copy the permissions from an existing user. In our case though, because we don't have either of these already configured, we're going to attach an existing policy directly. And I'll be talking about all of this functionality elsewhere in the course. For now though, locate administrator access, which is a policy which grants full admin control over this AWS account. Check the box, and this will mean that this managed policy is going to be associated or attached to this IAM user, and then click to move on. You'll need to click again where you're given a final chance to review all of this information, and then you can go ahead and click to create the IAMadmin user. You should see that this has been created successfully, and you're even able to click to send an email with login instructions to this user, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and click on Close to exit this dialog. Now at this point, go ahead and click on Dashboard. What we need to do now is to test that we can successfully log in as this IAM identity. Remember, we want to use this for the remainder of the course rather than use the account root user of the general AWS account. So what I want you to do is to copy this sign-in URL for IAM users into your clipboard, and you should probably note this down somewhere safe because this is going to be the URL that you'll use whenever you want to log in to the general AWS account using this IAM user from now on. So make sure that that's copied into your clipboard and then just go to that URL. So paste that into your address bar and then open it. Now this is going to log you out of the account root user and present you with a slightly different login screen. In this case, sign in as an IAM user. You'll see that this box has been pre-populated and it will either have the account ID or the account alias. Because I created an alias, you'll see that it's using my alias. In your case, it should be different. Go ahead and enter IAMadmin in the IAM username box. Then you'll need to enter the password that you picked in the previous step for the IAMadmin user of the general AWS account. Once you've entered all of that information, go ahead and click on Sign In. And now you're logged into the management console, but this time instead of using the account root user of the general AWS account, this time you're using an IAM user. If you click on this drop down, you'll be able to see that you're using IAM user IAMadmin, and it lists your account number next to my account. But it's easy to know that we're logged in as an IAM identity because it says it at the top of this drop down. Now this IAM identity has administrator access, and so it does have full control over this account, the same level of access as the account root user of this AWS account. But from this point forward, we're going to be using this account rather than the account root user. Now, because this is an admin account, we do need to fully secure it. So we need to set up one-time passwords in the same way that we did for the account root user. So to do that, click on this drop down and go to My Security Credentials, and we need to follow the same process that we did for the account root user. So scroll down, and now we need to click Assign MFA Device under Multi-Factor Authentication. Remember, because this is done per identity within each AWS account, we don't currently have one assigned because previously we set the one up for the account root user. We need to set this up again with a new one-time password profile in your software application for this specific identity. So we're not reusing the one that we previously set up for the account root user. So click on Assign MFA Device, pick Virtual MFA Device, and then click to continue, and you need to follow the same process. You'll need to click Show QR Code and then scan that QR code as a new entry within your Authenticator application. Don't reuse the one that you already have. Once you've scanned that QR code and created the new entry in your Authenticator application, the new entry for the I am admin user of the general AWS account, then you'll need to enter 2 consecutive MFA codes that are generated by this new entry. And again, this may take a few moments to do because you need to enter 2 consecutive codes. Once you've done that, you can click on Assign MFA. Again, assuming it's successful, you can close down this dialog, and then we need to log out and log back in again to test this one-time password. So click on this drop down and click on Sign Out. You'll need to once again use the URL that you noted down in the previous step, which is the sign-in URL for IAM identities of the general AWS account. You should see the account ID or account alias pre-populated once again. Make sure that it is your alias for your general AWS account. Enter IAM admin for the IAM username. Once again, you'll need to enter the password that you chose. Click on Sign In. This time you'll be prompted for a one-time password because that's what we've just set up. So enter that in this box and then click to log in to the AWS console. And there we go, we now require a one-time password as well as the username and normal password to log in to this IAM admin user. Now, just to reiterate what we've done, we've created a separate identity, so I am admin, within the general AWS account. So this is a separate identity from the account root user of the general AWS account. From this point forward, we won't be using the account root user of the general account. We'll be using the I am admin identity of the general account. Now, because this is an administrator user, just like we did for the account root user of the general account, we've configured multi-factor authentication for this I am admin identity. It's a separate entry in your Authenticator application, so now you should have 2. One for the account root user of the general account and one for the I am admin user of the general account. And this means now that in order to log into this I am admin identity of this general AWS account, you need the email address, the password, and the one-time code. Now at this point, that's everything that you need to do within this demo lesson. Go ahead and complete this video, and when you're ready, I'll look forward to you joining me in the next.